Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Retro Recreation. Today we're doing the train scene from Final Fantasy VII. Of course, I'm not recreating the scenes one after the other. I'm choosing my scenes selectively because I'm just letting my passion guide me on what I want to do or what looks interesting and exciting. So instead of the next exact scene from the train station, I've decided to tackle on the train interior itself. Sadly, before we proceed, I would kindly ask you guys to like, share, subscribe. As you guys know, I am very poor. I need money, especially doing these things takes a lot of time and effort, and I hope you guys like it, of course. And if you do, please, as I said, like, share and subscribe. Every bit of help keeps this channel hopefully growing and will hopefully allow me in future to be able to produce more content, as I'm kind of restricted every monthly instead of like weekly. So hopefully one day I hope to try to change that, but as things go, monthly it is. As you can see from my reference, I got these backgrounds from Google, of course, from I'm not too sure who, but they were able to extract these backgrounds without any people or characters, which works really well for me because I don't want any characters to hide the scene when I'm trying to figure out what's going on within it, and that helps out a lot. And I'm doing the breakdown. So as you can see, the train scene I'm doing right now, it's a really iconic scene from Final Fantasy VII, where Cloud is being chased by Shinra guards throughout the Midgar area after the reactor explosion, and he's being cornered. And when I first played it, I was stunned because I wasn't expecting him to actually jump on the train. I was expecting him to go to or fight his way to the train station. I didn't expect the train to leave, which added a lot more interest and flow to the story that I really liked. So as he jumped on the train, that was really cool when I first saw it. When the train opened and he came in, the characters were surprised. When the train showed the interiors, the characters showed worry for his safety, and then he just popped out of nowhere, which was a very interesting shot. Of course, it shows the cool aspect of Cloud, which was definitely played up to showcase a confident ex-Shinra soldier. Or as the story progressed, you'll understand a little bit more on where they went. So when the group met back on the train, it was in, I believe, the storage area, and they shifted to the open area of the train, which had people. And of course, I completely remembered talking to the guy that invited me into his home on the train. This guy that was just sleeping on the train, and he invited me. It was like, oh, okay, which was very interesting. It felt like a homeless person that was sleeping on the train, and it just added a lot more of a human feel towards the story that I perceived, where this train is being lived in and things are happening on this train. and then you interact with the characters on the train itself. Some punks and some managers and whatnot. The train had an interesting mix, interesting idea where the train is going to the undercity, and it's not only the very, very poor, it's also the managers, it's also the people of that works in Shinra. A lot of these people still live in the underground areas and not in the high-rise, perfect Midgar city. Of course, Barrett was very pissed off as usual to my Shinra manager. I'm glad the Shinra manager got a lot more, I would say, screen time in the new Final Fantasy VII Remake, because he was always an interesting character to hear from, as he technically worked for Shinra and was on the other side, but saw things differently. So the design of the train was very interesting. It was not too organic in terms of design. It was more hard surface modeling. Of course, there were some things like metal, wood, and neon lights. I really liked the steampunk look at the time. The train definitely has it. And when Cloud went to the monitors and the monitors came on, and then it was introduced what the lower levels look like, and then the camera came out and showed the entire structure, it was jaw-dropping at that time. As a child, I didn't know the true scale of it. I was so impressed by seeing what was there. And the remake actually really sold this huge monstrosity that the Midgar city is on, that has been supported on. It looked really good. I remember playing the Final Fantasy Remake and just sitting back and looking upon that scene. Mind you, this was, I think I played it on Christmas Eve. As a Christmas, usually I like to select a really good game and start it on Christmas Eve and play through, of course, the Christmas holidays, where I can actually get time to sit back and enjoy. And at that time, Final Fantasy VII I definitely chose as my key Christmas game. And Christmas Eve, I just sat down 9 o'clock in the night and started playing. And I remembered it was literally 12 on Christmas, and I'm sitting back just looking at that incredible scene that took me to those good old days. That design, the scale, the remake really did it justice. And of course, I believe, I'm actually not too sure, I don't believe there is a background for that structure that the train, of course, circles around the Midgar main base structure. So I think that is only shown in a cutscene, animated cutscene, which in terms of doing cutscenes, 3D animation takes a lot longer, because of course a lot of stuff needs to be animated and rendered and whatnot. I'm not too sure if I might actually just do it in the future, to be honest. I have no solid plans of redoing the animations right now, because it would just take too much time and resources on my end to build out all of that. So I would just stick with the backgrounds for now. But of course, as things go in the future and whatnot, I don't mind taking some time and actually rebuilding all these classic animations. Of course, as my goal is to try to keep the design as accurate as possible, there is some discrepancies I might have to work with, as there might not be enough clutter and there's not enough debris and texture and whatnot that I might have to change up to suit the scene. But I'll leave that to when I actually have to try to do it or want to do it, and I'll move on from that. So now, the train scene itself, building out the train in general wasn't very difficult, to be honest. The train was pretty straightforward. As you can see, the train is kind of symmetrical, so one side for me just needs to be done, and I could easily mirror the next side. The train consists of pipes, gold, some leather, some metals, and some wood, and some rails and whatnot, which is relatively simple. In terms of hard surface modeling, I would say I'm pretty proficient in it. Hard surface modeling comes easier to me than organic form modeling, which is more organic shapes like humans and round and apples and more or less round shapes, where hard surface modeling is more, as it goes in the name, hard 90-degree edges, things like cubes or plates and whatnot. So a lot of these things were hard surface modeling, which was pretty straightforward for me. Now, in terms of tend to try to stay away from symmetry objects, because primarily I like to click on the object and tweak it, fix it. But when my symmetry is on, I can't click on the object. It clicks on the symmetry object itself that everything is part of, which is technically okay. So what I like to do is turn my symmetry object off, and I tend to just use that. But I kind of like to see my full scene in total, so I can just take in the dimension and the scale of the scene itself, and it helps me try to figure out the dimensions from just looking at the references. As you can see, I didn't really have any dimensions per se. I just had an overhead view of the train and of course the frontal. So it's a lot of eyeballing and figuring out, and that tends to take a bit of time, and that tends to a bit time consuming in terms of accuracy, because any ricochet down the line tends to affect everything. There are many times that I've misestimated or mismanaged the scale of the object, and it left me shifting and fixing many stuff. Sometimes the entire scene needs to shift, and that takes a lot more time. That takes away from the designing process and just slows everything down of it. I try to keep it as close to the design as possible. As you can see later on, the train would be a lot more clean in terms of its look, because I did not see any like tears in the leather. To me, if I were remaking this, I would put tears in the leather, rust all over. But since I'm just trying to follow the original design as close as possible, since I did not see any tears in leather, I had just a worn leather texture applied to the seats, and some slight rust and noises applied to everything else, where I see there is that rust and noise. building out the scene was a lot quicker than the train scene because the train took a lot of time to try to figure out because we only had one dimension. So with two views as reference, this train was finishing at a pretty reasonable time. There was one thing I took liberties with in terms of design is the monitors. Since the screens that I had were black, I decided to place a small Easter egg. I used the Final Fantasy first image as the game starts and the title comes up. I used that and I placed it in the screen. Of course, I'm not going to take too much liberties with the design, only small stuff that has no bearing or disrupts the scene itself. I would most likely do these Easter eggs on things like TVs and pieces of paper, primarily because I don't really have these textures and the image itself is too grainy for me to try to recreate what's on a lot of these pages or paper. Things like photographs and whatnot is also something that I would have to replace completely because it's just too fuzzy to make out, and it leaves a space to place whatever I think will be interesting or exciting. As for the lighting of the train was pretty interesting to light because primarily back then they were now figuring out this 3D thing and a lot of it doesn't really conform on today's lighting look. How I usually do my lighting as a architectural visualization artist, a bulk of my work tends to go more into architecture, so that's more or less my kind of bread and butter in total. In terms of architectural visualizations, usually I would set up IES lights and I would light the scene accordingly as it would be lit in real life, and then I would place fill lights to illuminate certain areas or bring more light into the scene. But looking at the original image, the main light source looks to be the main fluorescent bulb in the middle of the train. But if you look closely, you'll see that there are bright spots on the floor with shadows. So I'm guessing I would place spotlights along the floor to create that effect, and I would use the main light source as a ambient light to cast all around. And what I thought to do, which the idea just came to me and I really liked it, was to place the train within the train station. The train station I originally did, I wanted to show off some of that train station outside the window. So I placed the train scene inside the train and had it outside my train station scene. But what I kind of wanted or was thinking of, I wanted a light to come through the windows to illuminate the inside and give it that contrast, but just on one side because I wanted that light spill to come in and give it a certain mood. And I placed the scene along that railroad strip until it reached a certain portion I believed I really liked, where the lights are there being illuminated and shining inside the train, and it just gave the vibe and the lighting setup that I was looking for. As for software, of course, I use Corona Render. I've been using Corona Renderer for a good few years now. It is a fantastic rendering software for architectural. It works really fast. It's really straightforward, and it gives you exactly what you want. So, and it has a fast material library that, of course, speeds up the process. So I will, of course, stick with Corona throughout my previews, because these projects technically need to be done in a reasonable amount of time and not take too long. Because, of course, I do have other things to do, like a real job, and those tend to have a lot of work and tends to take away my time. So, of course, tight deadlines and changes and a lot of back and forths tends to take away immense amounts of time. So these are hopefully quick one and done. Of course, I do wish I could have spent a lot more time on these things, but of course, real life. And I've noticed, of course, ask several of my fellow co-workers to take a look at them, take a look at my backgrounds, and they pointed out certain nitpicks. Unfortunately, I couldn't really address those nitpicks. I kind of had to leave it as it is. One of the main nitpicks is the flooring, which the wood and the bolts I thought would probably take a little too much time, and I kind of ran out of time on this. So I kind of had to just use or leave the floorboards with the nails and just have just flat planks. Of course, as things go, usually you have to, one very important and key aspect of doing animation when I now started was to finish projects. There were many people that interned, and I met them and we became friends, and unfortunately within the animation field it takes a lot of time, and you're constantly learning, constantly improving, and that is one of the banes of animators, where you started off a project and you learn so much more. So you just want to produce the best out there. You want to produce something that you feel proud of. With the improvement that you have and you show, you constantly reach a point where you look at your work and think to yourself, you can do better, you can improve on this, you can make this look a lot better than you had a month ago. And a lot of pet projects or initial projects animators do tend to stick where it never gets done, because it's always been improved. And the best advice, one of the best advice anyway, that I heard was finish. No matter what, no matter the time frame, no matter the problems, always aim for a certain deadline and keep to it. Do not try to go over that deadline, because very important, you don't want to be perpetually doing this work and you need to move on. And you never know, you could always do a project the next time and it amazes you. It's a lot more than you'd ever thought or expected to gain from that project, whether it be showing off or showing to clients or trying to get a resume going to another company and whatnot. So of course I place a self deadline upon myself so I can make sure that this project will finish. So I kindly thank you guys if you tune in throughout the entire thing, and I really appreciate it. And of course, if you like it, share the love. And thank you very much.